And we'll start with Sue, the minutes. Sue sent them ahead of time so people could look at them. So if you wanna just review them again, take a couple minutes to review them so you don't have to read them.
I don't like to read them.
Okay, so we'll review those minutes if we could. Ed, do you need a copy of the minutes?
Does Sheila come?
She's supposed to come.
I wanted to meet her.
She's very nice.
And Tom Collier said he was gonna make it, so,
Yep.
yeah, he hasn't come yet. At the bottom of the second page, Elizabeth Hunter, you know, with her grave site and so on and so forth, that's all been taken care of at this point. Yeah. There's 2 flags and 2 other acknowledgements of her participation in World War I and her service with the Women's Corps.
I wanted to talk with the assessor. Okay.
It's a small office, sorry.
Are we all set? Does anybody have any omissions or corrections for that? For the minutes? Can we have a motion to accept the minutes as
I'll
read?
make a motion. Second.
All in favor? Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next thing, which is the lineup. So Joe and I sat down and we went over the lineup, and we have a preliminary lineup. We need to have your input, if we wanna change anything, if we wanna add anything. So this is the lineup at the rec field, but it's just a guide that we can go by and change or add and do whatever else you'd like to do to that.
Can all be mixed around, it's just something that you wanna put down on paper, so.
So the Lions Club wants to do a float, so then they don't wanna be near the band, so we may have to change them. And I forgot to put on here the military vehicles that are gonna be in the parade, where were we gonna put those? And the veteran agent, I don't know if she's gonna walk or not walk.
You should put the vehicles in the back. Otherwise it creates a big gap because they never go slow enough.
Okay, so the military vehicles, should that go after the fire trucks, or?
In front of the fire trucks, cause we usually use the fire trucks to, block traffic.
And we don't want the fire trucks to have any horns or whistles going, so maybe you can help with that. We don't want any noise.
Okay, I don't think they usually do. I think they usually do.
I reached out to 4 motorcycle clubs and I've heard back from two. Still up in the air. Both of them have meetings this month. And after that, they said they would try to get back to me with an approximate number. So when we do our schematic of the field, we're gonna have to kind of figure in, some room for them.
We need to go over that too, late, yeah.
Good. But the motorcycles said they don't wanna be at the back of the parade. And here's the reason why. They really are moving slowly and some of them will overheat. I've got potentially something coming in from Auburn, the American Legion from Auburn, and they're not gonna do the Auburn parade because they were gonna put them at the back of the parade, and they felt that the motorcycles could overheat. So, they would like, if we do have some response after that, I would recommend that we don't have them towards the end of the parade, more towards the beginning.
You could put them
So-
on either side and have them ride down the parade route, but at a slow pace. But that would also help control things, you know, keep people on the sidewalks instead of on the parade route, crossing and screwing things up. You know, think
So in
about
other words, they wouldn't stay in formation, they would kind of go
Right.
along the side and a little
Right.
quicker than the others.
quicker
That-
than the walkers, yeah.
That's a good idea, but we still have to
Hi,
literally
Sheila.
get them in a place at the beginning,
Yep.
when we're doing our formation. So my recommendation would be to put them up closer to the front when we're lining them up versus them starting off way in the back and then having to catch up. So,
You
that's,
could put them right outside the rec field on either side of the road, then they're ready to go. And when the parade starts coming, then they can start moving along at a comfortable speed, or maybe halfway through, so that by the time the parade's over, they can keep going at a decent clip, you know?
okay, yeah, so we need to let the monitors at the rec field know
Yep.
that when the motorcycles show up, where to put them. So you're recommending that, cause the road's gonna be closed after,
The road will be closed. I think we'll have DPW put barriers up. Williamsville Road, the end of High Street, and then at the intersection of Brigham and Elm and 68.
and what time do you think that'll?
Well, we can have the barriers there, and then as soon as we start going up to line up, we can put them
So,
out so we can stop traffic.
So 10 o'clock?
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
Okay, so as long as when we do our schematic, the monitors know that when the motorcycles, so there'd be room along the highway at that point to put them. And then to give them instructions to say, okay, guys, this is how it's gonna work, and you guys can, literally go slow, but you'll be in more movement, so therefore not an issue.
Tell them when
So-
they cut in, that's the
How do
important.
you tell all of them if they're on each separate bike?
Well, there may be, let's say there's 4 to 6 bikes altogether.
Okay.
And there'd be plenty of room on the side of the road for them. And you're gonna have a narrative with them, and you'd be telling them at that point, in order to keep the bikes cool, it's gonna be okay for you guys to kind of go along the side of the other contingents, spread yourself out, have fun, be seen by the crowd, and then at the end of the route, Claudia and I were talking about.
Wait for, so I have one thing, I wanna introduce Sheila, she's our new veterans agent.
Oh,
So
nice
she's
to meet
here
you.
with us, which
Yeah.
is great,
Welcome on
and
board.
she got our chaplain, which was nice,
That's
she's still gonna
wonderful.
do
Yeah,
that for us?
she is, yeah.
Great. So my thing was, so we wanna have the bikes, do you think we're only gonna have like four or five bikes or
It's
10
hard to
bikes
say.
or something?
They're
Yeah,
having
hard
2
to say.
meetings this month.
So they're gonna ride along the side of the parade as the parade goes up?
That's what John recommends, and that adds a little bit of,
Is it gonna take away, from our veterans, cause it's about them?
John, what do you think?
No, I don't think so,
I
I
mean,
think
'cause
we're
we
trying
got
to
the-
accommodate everybody.
Well, aren't these
And,
guys veterans?
I used to have a
Some of
bunch
them can be.
officers on motorcycles in my career, and we used to have to interact with parade committees, where do we step in, et cetera, you know. Boston PD's motorcycle group too, so it's, I understand their problem. They're gonna overheat, no question, and especially it's gonna be warmer, we don't know how warm. When they start to move along is gonna be the key, you know, somebody's gonna have to make that decision. It's not at the beginning, because they're gonna be outrunning the parade then, so you want them back a little ways.
Will the
and have
noise
them-
be drowning anything else out, or maybe?
The band and all that, how's that gonna work?
I don't think it'll drown them out by any means, but.
No,
How long is this parade, may I ask?
We don't know.
Won't be big.
We're not quite sure yet.
No, but I mean like distance
What
wise.
is the parade, was it?
Oh.
Ryan, is it
Ball
approximately
field.
a
About a
quarter of
mile,
a
is it?
mile?
So up
Yeah, I would
in
say
the
Rec
field.
field
Just comes
to
down to
Common.
heat.
It's
not a very
Yeah.
long
a
one.
quarter to it, so.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I was
most of
It's
those
not that
motorcycles should be fine. Most of them should be fine,
Mhm.
running for that amount of time.
I think they're
So
expecting.
you're gonna put the
that
motorcycles
parade routes are
on the
much
side
longer
of
than ours
Yeah, they'll
normally,
probably
and
be
I
going
think
on
that's
the
why they
mountain,
run
yeah,
into problems,
just
but
on one side.
let's
One
accommodate them, you know?
Yeah, so we just established that the parade route itself is approximately 1/4 to 1/3 mile. That's the parade route, that'd be from the rec field to the common.
I think the west side of 68 would be, just have them on one side so that, I think typically, most of the people that are out watching are on that other side. That are watching the parade, typically they're on the east side of 68, lined up along by the market and all that stuff, and GFA. So if we had the motorcycles on the
Down
other
Main
side of
Street.
it,
We're going
it
towards
would
that.
probably be, you know, not as loud for them and
Good.
maybe a good spot for them.
Now, so that's a good point. Where do we have them blend into the parade?
Right, is it after the veterans? Is it at the beginning? I think maybe at the beginning with the police and the grand marshal and the color guards and the militia are walking with them.
Yeah,
And
actually,
then
I
that
think it would.
opens, and then that opens up our veterans walkers, our veterans floats, our veterans walkers. Yeah, and then the band after the senator and them, I
When the
thought.
motorcycles get down to the end, what do?
Oh, we got,
We'll
we
get
got
to
that. We're gonna park them. The selectmen now, I forgot to put the selectmen on here, but we only have Jeff Williams and Katie. Katie's gonna be walking with the girls, but Jeff will be walking, so we need to show, he is our selectman, we need to probably find, I didn't put him on, I don't know where we're gonna put him. Or should we put him in should we put him in a car? I don't know. I don't know if Jeff's
Put
a
it with the
veteran.
people that are the senators, these senators,
Senator
people
Brewer.
Yeah.
walking.
Put him with them?
Yep.
Okay.
Should we send them a special letter
Who?
inviting all the selectmen to the,
We've already done that.
you gave them a special invitation?
Tony invited them and I was told they're not coming. So,
Off the record, you know, we're having veterans from the veterans. Katie and I have had a conversation. I think it's kind of an insult. We're a town committee, Ryan, and there's a lot of guys with real issues that served in Vietnam, the way they were called baby killers, et cetera, and I know now it's too late for us. I thought we'd have all the selectmen there between you and I. But it's psychologically, it's the wrong thing to do. I think, my own feeling. I didn't have that issue when I came back from the Korean War, but I know I had a brother-in-law that did, and it took him a long time to get over
Yeah, I did.
the reception he got when he came home, you know, and he was still in the
I
service.
got spit
and he
on,
did-
I got spit at Logan Airport.
Yep,
I wound up in a fight on a bus.
yep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you win?
Yeah. Thrown down the stairs.
Tom
And the
Collier,
bus driver closed it, after I threw him out the door, the bus driver automatically closed the door and drove away.
yeah, Tom
What do you say to
Collier,
that?
when he came back from Vietnam, I think he had 4 tours over there, I believe. He worked in San Francisco, this gal was there, she had her hands up like to hug him. When he got there, she spit in his face. Now, he's on our committee, you know what I'm saying? I won't say any more, but I've had issues with a very prominent politician. I squatted him around for a little while. who called our veterans, and he was a veteran of the Vietnam baby killers, and that, we had our conversations about that for many times, and,
Our
so-
tribute will make up for a little bit of
Well, I
that.
think what the
think so.
committee is trying to say is we're really disappointed in our selectmen.
That's a
We
good way to put
feel
it.
that we have, and you, we've worked so hard and we honor our veterans. We have family members. We elected them. They represent this town. And this is a very important day for us, and they should be here.
I
And
did say-
when that selectman told me at that meeting, not even you did a great job. Nothing. I'm not walking in your parade, Claudia. The other one says, well, I don't know whether I'm gonna go to A or B. You know what? That should not even be. You should be here.
Okay, let's get back to it. Where do we put this, like,
So
do
anyway, okay, where do we put this?
you wanna put
With
them
the-
along? after
With,
the-
the senator?
I think so. I mean, that's the appropriate place for them.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, so the Lions Club wants a float, so I don't know if we wanna keep them there or if we wanna move them.
Well, if the band's at number 9 position
They
and
don't wanna be
Lions
near
are
the
14.
band, yeah.
that's
So we
pretty
can
good.
move them and put them, I thought, either behind the baseball in front of the horses, cause that would kinda bring it down a little bit, add a little more to the parade. We could bring them down to there. What do you think, Joe? Cause they wanna have a float, they don't wanna be near the music, and that would kind of break up, you'd have your Golden Ages float, and then you'd have your Lions Club, we could break them up and put them behind the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, soccer and baseball. That's what I thought.
No member here from the Lions Club?
I can, Tom Collier's not here, but
Yeah, well, how would, I mean, I don't think it really matters where they go with it.
If they're in that 14 position, they're quite a distance from the band. That was the issue.
Yeah, and I was thinking you wouldn't wanna have the two floats together, would you? Wouldn't you wanna break it up
Yeah.
a little bit and so that they
You're gonna
can,
have
cause they're
walking
gonna
Oh,
have
I
their
see,
own
'cause we got a
music.
float in number 13 also, yeah.
Yeah, so bring it down to the, after the baseball, so we could do 18A, we'll take that off.
So move the Lions Club after baseball?
Yes, I was thinking, how does the board feel about that? Sound all right?
That sounds okay.
Great idea.
How about the horses? I thought they were gonna be last. Remember what
Well,
happened?
Joe
to
and
the
I,
horses?
Joe,
I thought we were gonna,
We're,
we're gonna have, the car club after the
Horses.
horses?
They don't
I'm
wanna
gonna
ride
give
over
that
the-
to Joe.
Is that where you usually have them at the end?
Yeah, at the end, very end.
At the end?
You just have a vehicle in
After the
front
fire
just
trucks
pushing them off to the side,
Sorry.
like a plow.
After I spent 4 hours cleaning my car before the parade. I
Alright,
don't
so the
wanna have to-
motorcycles are gonna come out of here. So,
Right.
do you want the horses after the tractor and
Yeah, I think the horses after, I mean, the horses should be last, yeah.
behind the fire truck though?
Well, not behind the fire truck.
No.
Truck is left.
Fire truck can handle it,
Okay,
right?
so
They,
behind
they
the,
have, they can pick up, they have the shovels and everything. in the engine.
so the horses are gonna be behind the tractor and truck, right?
Are you gonna have somebody?
Okay, so we're gonna move the horses after,
The tractor and trucks, right?
yeah, and before, after the military vehicles, cause we moved the military vehicles back.
So before the military vehicles? Yeah,
I think
yeah, okay.
military vehicles are large enough too, so, okay.
The other thing was,
You should.
Sheila, are you gonna be marching in our parade? Or what do you think? Are you gonna be coming?
So I have the Templeton parade that I needed.
Put you right at the spot.
I know, I have the Templeton, parade that I'm still trying to put the pieces together. So if I can get that all taken care of, then I can be here.
Okay,
And what time does this one start?
The parade starts at 11,
Okay.
Right
and the
up.
ceremony starts at 12 noon. We anticipate that the ceremony will last approximately 1 hour.
so does the
So
chap,
most likely I can,
oh, good.
because once I get everything, the parade and everything started there, it's pretty much gonna be self-driven.
And what about the
What time
chaplain?
does that
Is she
parade
gonna-
start?
Their parade starts at 10,
Oh, that's good.
and then the ceremony's at 11. So,
So you might be able to be here for noon, is that what you're saying, or, all right?
But once, so I have the Friends of Templeton Veterans doing the lineup of the parade, and then I have the Legion doing the ceremony. I just have a few things I have to work out with the Legion to make sure it all goes off, and if it doesn't, then I have to be there to make sure everything, so.
And where would we have her march?
Well, that was the other thing, and I wanted to know if, do you think Michelle, Chaplin will be marching in the parade? Or-
If I tell her to, she will.
So how do you feel, do we wanna put her up front? What?
Where does, typically, where does the chaplain, where is the chaplain?
I would put her in the front, but I don't know how anybody else feels about that. I think she should
In
be
the,
at
the
the beginning.
years that you did it before?
I never had a chaplain.
But yeah, I
Never
would put her
had
with
a
the veterans.
You what?
I would put her with the other veterans.
Put the chap, okay.
Yep.
So we'll put her on with that, okay.
And she'd be walking?
If I tell her to,
You
yes.
tell her to walk, go to
Walk
run,
or
would she
ride?
run? Yeah.
Does she wanna ride or?
She's a major, so I think only Tom outranks her.
Okay,
Okay, and you'd be marching with the veterans too then, right?
And me.
Oh, you're marching with the veterans?
Yes, please.
Good.
Oh, are you gonna wear the t-shirt and the hat that we have made for you guys?
I'll do what I'm told, Claudia.
You wear what you want.
All right, good. So Ryan, we're gonna put you up here. Put you up.
I might, it'd be, call it color guard versus color guards, just some semantics, but number 3, color guard.
Color guards, okay, so what were you saying?
Just drop off the S, say color guard.
Oh,
No, just
yeah, this
semantics.
is not for me, this is for
Yeah.
the lineup
Yeah.
committee.
There will be more than one, so that'll be,
I can
Group is referred
retype
to
this
as color
over
guard.
for them, or Sue can do that, yeah, one
Yeah.
of us will do that.
Who will that be?
that's gonna be, the color guard will be coming out of Gardner, Mass National Guard, 181st. I have a contact person, Michael Burke. We're working out a few details. There was a couple friction points they referenced. For example, Ryan, maybe you can add something to this. He told me that they're not allowed to carry guns in civilian vehicles, but he thought he could work around that.
That's true, you can't.
He can work around it.
No, you can't do that.
You can't do it, yeah. And they're not gonna have any military vehicles. It'll be coming in from different spots. So that would mean that if they're not gonna be able to do the
guns?
the firing squad, that would be our
Oh.
militia that would do it. That work for you?
Yep.
Okay, so,
So how do they transfer to other parades when they wanna do the firing squad? How do they transfer? They have a special vehicle that they ride in?
I believe if they have a vehicle available to them, a military vehicle, then they can transport weapons, but they can't in civilian vehicles. But in talking with First Sergeant Burke, he said sometimes we can work around that, but I have 1 or 2 more calls to work out the details with him. But he was concerned about getting flags, concerned about getting enough National Guardsmen there that day, but that was a preliminary they're gonna be there, just gonna matter how many there's gonna be there, but we're gonna have a place for them, of course, on the common, and they will be an integral part of the parade. But they'll be limited to doing the color guard with the flags, sons without weapons, so.
So are you still gonna think about the weapons if they can get a ride, or are you gonna?
No, they're not gonna have a
So
vehicle
we're definitely
available
gonna
to
do the
them.
militia.
Yep, so we'll have Skip and
Skip.
obviously the militia, do it as you have before, right?
Yeah, they're practicing now.
Yeah, good, good, okay.
Okay, so Skip, you got that. The other thing was, Joe was mentioning that maybe the people that are gonna do the lineup for the parade should have some sort of a vest.
I think
I don't
that's a
know if
great
the
idea.
fire department or the police department have like an orange vest or something so that they can pick them out.
What about the
It's you and me, right?
CERT team?
Yeah, for now.
Does the CERT have that? Could you
CERT
check on
has
that?
the vests.
Lion Club.
Yeah.
We can
Would be a deal also.
reach out to them.
That
and
are
see.
kinda colorful, yeah.
They're the green, the high vis green vests. Is that what you're looking for?
What do you think, Joe?
I just thought it would be easier for people to identify
To-
people.
to
We
know
need at
who's-
least 6,
Need 6.
because we're gonna have 4
Maybe we-
volunteers at the rec field and 2 at Go Green, doing parking, so we'd like to have 6.
Can you do
Okay.
that for us?
I'll work on that, yes.
So, that's what I have with the lineup. How, are we good with that?
The National Guard, is that all right with
In other words, the color guard, yeah.
Down here, what, is there actually gonna be?
So is the National Guard the same as the color guard,
Yeah,
Bill?
yes, it is.
So I
yeah.
can take this
That's
number
correct.
10 off?
Mhm.
Okay. And the ROTC teams are okay?
That's correct. Should we have them right next to each other? What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'd like to see them spread out, because one represents the Marines, one's the Navy, and I'd like to see them, in different lineups.
I know, you've got something to say, go ahead, say it.
No, I won't.
Yeah, I'll say, aren't the Marines part of the Navy?
They are indeed.
I don't know, well, we thought about that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And Navy comes first because,
But I'd like
They
to
were
see
there
them
for it.
separate.
So where would you like to put them?
I'd say that if you have, one team, the ROTC from Quabbin represents the Navy, drill team. So if we put them further back in the parade, that'd be fine.
I
don't wanna-
think what we
I
would-
think they'll have a banner, but I'd like them to be more distinctive and, separate, so that there's no confusion, potential confusion.
Do you wanna put them in behind the Golden Ages?
That's fine, yeah, just,
So which one are we gonna put? Amani Tech behind the
I
Golden?
think you leave the, Quabbin one at spot 11,
Okay, so.
and then if you, want to, where do you have the Golden Age?
What if you put
So
them
let
like-
me just ask, let me just throw this out there, and probably doesn't mean a darn thing. So the whole beginning of the parade is all kind of military. It's all kind of, the beginning is everything military. Then you're gonna stick a Golden Ages float, and then you're gonna put Monty Tech Marines. It's kind of like they're kind of out of the picture, is
What
what
if you
I'm
put
just.
them on either side of the band?
One in
Yeah.
front of the band and one after the band, okay.
Mhm,
Yeah, okay,
that's
so
good.
let's put
Mhm.
the, Monty Tech, we're gonna leave there, but the drill team is gonna go in front of the band, right?
That would be
Quabbin.
the Monty Tech,
Quabbin is in front and Monty Tech is behind.
right, so if we put, if you put, Monty Tech before the band,
Oh,
yeah,
I thought you said
then you'd have the band, then you'd have the
Quabbin.
Quabbin.
Okay, so, but just so that we're clear, thought you were saying that, and I kinda like the Marines before the Navy.
I don't know why.
I can't imagine why. So you're gonna put the Marines before the,
Before the Navy, I thought you
Before
said
the
it was the
Navy.
Navy before the Marines.
Well, you could do something else, you could put squid on the Navy.
Oh.
All right, I can see trouble here.
So you wanna keep
Just
it
for
that way,
clarification.
Bill,
So
or
it
you wanna
would be,
change it around? Quabbin
the-
in front?
It would be all of our representatives, then the Monty Tech
Monty Tech,
drill team,
okay,
which
Okay.
happens to be the Marines, then the band, and then the Quabbin
Quabbin,
drill team.
okay. Okay. Alright, so that's pretty much what it's gonna look like, guys. How's the lineup committee
I
feel
was,
about that?
just thinking about, and we have a meeting at 6:30 tonight, the Veteran Memorial Committee. You know, we have a combination of, veterans, and then, you know, I'm gonna be up on the common with you and hopefully a couple other, people, but, there are a few others, from the committee, that, potentially might wanna march. And if they do, I
Nice.
guess we could put them in with the other representatives and so on and so forth.
You could put them in just before the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts, do you think, or?
If, you know, there's only gonna be a couple because the others will be with the veterans. But I thought I'd, offer that tonight and just say, does anybody wanna march? I put that on the agenda for tonight, in case they do. And then, not to jump too far ahead, but, when you and I went up and did the thing on the common, and we had that place for the veterans, I thought that we'd put our committee next to them, right next to them.
Yeah,
So that, when Ryan, does his 5 or less minute talk, that might be a way for him to acknowledge the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Committee at that point.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could just throw this proposal out to them and see how they feel about how we set it.
Yeah,
up.
good idea, yeah, I'll bring this tonight,
Tell Steve you better march with me.
I will indeed.
Okay, so,
5 minutes, I've never talked 5 minutes in my life.
I mean, more than or less than?
Usually way more.
Okay.
all right, so we're gonna go
I'll
with
be
this.
behind you kicking you.
This is yours, Joe,
Excuse
to
me?
fix, I'll type it up and make some copies for you, and then you can write whatever you want in between. So we're pretty much done with the lineup committee. You guys comfortable with that?
You comfortable with it? No
You
big
wanna
deal.
look at it together and then figure it out too? So,
Once you get it done,
Put it
once
down,
I
we'll
get it done, we'll let you.
And
get
then,
that.
We'll wing it.
Yeah,
Next
and-
week,
And
we
then
have
I
to-
would say that if you guys wanna meet up with me, and meet up at
Yeah.
there, we can flesh it out a little more.
Do a
Because we're
read.
gonna have a combination of, people on, in the parking lot, now people on 68, groups on 68, motorcycle, and then literally up on the rec field.
Can
Have
do a
we
little-
cleared it with?
little rehearsal.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And by that time, I would say by the next time we meet, we'll sort of have a map, that schematic we're talking about. And, knowing now, as soon as we get the finalized list, then we'll work with that. And then figure out what gates we're gonna use. And, but we cleared it with, Parks Department that we're
She
gonna.
was supposed to be here today, but she didn't make it.
Okay.
So she probably, I told her we're meeting again on Wednesday. So it was brought to my attention, we should meet every Wednesday until 3, to get everything right, the best that we can. It's not gonna be perfect, I'm sure.
What
So-
time,
Once you get that list and you're comfortable with it, get in touch with me and we'll talk about that rendezvous, okay?
what time do you want the Lions helpers to be there to coordinate the,
9:30 AM.
Are they gonna meet us
Okay.
next week too and walk through with
Yeah,
us?
yeah, I think that we, in between time, we might, and then at the next meeting, we'll be coming back and telling the group sort of what we come up with for a plan.
So the next item we're gonna talk about is John's doing the program. So this is a worksheet, just something I threw together, change it whatever we want, but something to go by, just to see, cause he needs to have names to fill in, we've gotta see how we're gonna do the program, who's gonna be first, who's gonna be second. And I have a copy of, John made this for us to talk about, this is things that we can talk about and change and do whatever. It's just a guide, okay? It's nothing written that you have to, something to go by, to change and do whatever you need.
By the way, whoever decided to
It's
go
like
with a
my-
trifold after I'd done a bifold, I'm gunning for you. I don't know who it is, thank God, I don't remember.
When in
But
doubt,
it's
blame
quite a-
Claudia.
Yeah, quite a change, you know.
That wasn't me, that was Lori.
We have more to do there, but I'm just running
This
this
is
by.
where we're at now.
Yeah. The legend underneath the cover page of the Vietnam veterans, I'm gonna use the, whoever, did the monument, just wanna give them credit underneath there.
Yeah, and you did, didn't you? No, you haven't
No,
checked
I
it,
did
yeah.
the last time,
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I
just
know, I
gonna
saw
bring
it,
that
yeah.
over, yep.
Good, okay.
The flag is there, if we need to add anything, I can make that flag smaller or bigger or get rid of it, but,
And here's, and she's making a couple more copies, okay?
this is a work in progress, you know? But there were so many blanks, I had to put X's and I didn't have names.
I'm getting another copy.
We need to get that done by the next meeting, next week, has to be finished. Got the lion's emblem in there, Ed.
It's busy over there.
When you see large print, I can make that much smaller and add anything we need to add on that center, on the inside.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So this would be the sequence of what would transpire at the ceremony?
I think so, because,
You know, we wanna make everything a bit, cost to cover is one thing, then certainly the program is important. And, I've got big print on that center fold and I can make that as small and make room for whatever else you think you'd like in there. history of Memorial Day, Ryan. I put that in every year. If you wanna take it out, that's fine, but, you know, I think that's an educational thing for the kids, you know?
Okay, we planned on 4 speakers,
You do.
and there's only 3 listed there.
Yeah, whatever you give me, I'll sneak in there. That's where the flag gets smaller and smaller. Just,
Yep.
it's there as a placeholder.
Because we had the subjects for the 4 speakers on the last agenda. And it would be Ryan doing kind of the introduction and what was the genesis of this whole idea about the memorial, and then reaching out for volunteers, and then at that point, a little bit more about that, and saying that it's been a long journey, and then perhaps acknowledging the volunteers at that point. And there's that 5 minutes.
Why don't you be the point person on getting the suggestions, and get them to me, and then,
Yeah, 'cause,
all right,
all right, so you want me to get back to you with the 4 people who are
Whatever.
speaking?
Correct.
What their topics will be?
Yep.
Okay,
I have that all on
she
here.
has some
Yeah.
already,
I
yeah.
have that
yeah,
on this paper here.
yeah. Why
I,
don't you give that to
I
John?
gave everybody one.
Okay, where's that?
It's right here.
No, this one, John. I gave you this here.
Oh, there we go, yeah, there it is,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, all right.
Okay, so John, there are the 4 speakers.
Oh, don't you have them here?
Yep,
And the
they're there
actual
too.
monument,
This is the
that's gonna
program
be
stuff that I
covered.
thought you might
Who's
wanna
gonna
include in your program.
cover-
All right.
cover that?
We'll tell you, yeah.
This is,
You're gonna be one of them.
oh, that's the agenda, I'm sorry.
Better
Be a lot of people.
I think we'll,
So that's-
I'm hoping we
Oh,
have,
I thought you might wanna add.
I'm hoping we have
stuff
at
to your
least
program. I don't know.
40 Hubbardston Vietnam veterans who we will ask to come forward at the appropriate time and to unveil the memorial. We will have it covered. We're hoping that by the 2nd week in May, it'll be in place, and at that point, we'll cover it. And then that morning, very early, we'll take the cover off and clean it again, so when it comes off, it doesn't have dust or anything on it. And then at the appropriate time, we'll ask the Vietnam veterans who are gonna be part of the people sitting in an appropriate spot with other veterans to come forward, and we'll unveil it at that point.
So
So
if-
John, you see the 4 names now, and what they'll be talking about?
I do, yep.
Okay,
You're talking about Donnie Berthium, Ryan, Steve Brewer, and Bill Shea?
yeah.
yeah, so please look and
Alright.
make sure I got that right, Bill,
These
what
are-
everyone's talking about.
Are you still looking for speakers for the Gettysburg Address, the Flandersville, and Graham?
We've got, so I did go to the school, like Bill asked me to go back to the school, and I did, and I met with the principal. And I gave her this flyer, it was in color, with everything on the back of it, and she put it in all the kids' book bags. So, in it here, we want the kids to memorize the thing. So, and it says the audition schedule and everything. I got a call from the school yesterday, and I had to go over and meet with them because in the meantime, I have 2 little girls that came over and they're very excited about auditioning for it. They took the speeches and they brought them home, and so they're excited about auditioning. The principal had said to me, I have 6 girls and we just already decided they're gonna say there. And I said, you can't, cause I already put this in and the auditions, and I already have people scheduled for auditions to come. So I have a little pushback from the principal, a little tiny bit, I'm not saying it's bad, but she wants those 6 girls to do it. Well, I'm not saying the other 2 little girls are gonna make it, but that's not fair. And she doesn't think that they should have to memorize it, she wants 2, 2, and 2, and she wants them, if they have to memorize, then each one can memorize a paragraph. I don't have a problem with that, if the little girls can't do it, but they need to have their fair share, and we did put that the auditions were gonna be scheduled, and I think we have to stay with that. I'm not saying we can't have 2 girls read, they can, or not read, but memorize, cause that's what that's what we put on there, and we've had it done before, kids can memorize. So we put a little bit of but I think they can do it, they did it before.
Do they go to the local school?
They go to the Hubbardston School.
Well, why don't you
So,
let
'cause
the
Bill-
principal handle it, Claudia?
Well,
you
I
know?
can't, John, because she told me she wants those 6 girls to do it, and they're gonna do it together, and maybe they don't
Well,
wanna be.
what
there,
I'm
but they
saying
will
is,
do it.
let the principal be the bearer of bad news.
Well, I did go to her and I did speak to her, and she did hopefully understand where I was coming from, because I said I had those other 2
Yeah.
little girls that are coming, so.
Any possibility they could do a duet? In other words, 2,
Oh, yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
so that would include the 2 girls.
The 2 little ones,
Yeah.
but they're each memorizing, the little girl's memorizing the little one, and the other little girl's memorizing the Gettysburg.
And these are
Attack.
both from center school also.
These are kids from Center School also. So I just think we ought to just let it play out, see what happens, and just decide as we move along, we'll just kinda go along the road and we'll figure that out.
To keep the kids involved, I think, yeah, maybe next time you're right, let the principal, you know,
Well,
we need 6 kids to do something for us, and let her decide and let it go.
Yeah,
Could
it's too
you,
late now though, kinda too late now.
These
But
2
we'll go down the road.
These
I
2
think.
little girls, could you give them another capacity to participate in? Can you think of something else they might be able to do?
Memorizing something already.
They came
kinda-
last week and they're all excited, and then they were here for the pie for breakfast, they're so excited,
gosh,
the
yeah.
mother's all excited, they're excited, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, but did the principal already tell these other 6 kids that?
Yes,
Okay.
but I told her she had to untell them. I
Well,
said, we
those-
sent 200 of these home, how can you do that? So anyways, but let's just play that by ear, let's just go down that road, let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks, see what happens. Cause the auditions are on the 17th. And I told them they had to audition just like everybody else.
Audition in front of us or somebody else?
No, I have a lady that's gonna do the audition. She did it for me the time and she did a great job, and we had great speakers that year, we did.
Talent scout.
Talent scout.
I really don't wanna wade in this pool, but have the students from the center school already memorized something?
I have no idea,
I
no.
think we should, the more participation the better, so if we could add something for them,
For the center school?
it's 2, 2, 2.
You could put in the response, remember, we didn't, we dropped one of the things,
We did,
yeah, so there is a
cause we never did that one, we never had, that
There's a
never-
response,
There's this
If you add the 4th, then you have 8, and you can do 2 for each.
There
that
you
way
go.
nobody's feelings get hurt, it's a win, that's why he's the administrator.
You're gonna get me in trouble.
No, it's too
It's
bad,
everything.
it's just a lack of communication in a sense, but
I think we should just let's not make a big deal out of it, let's just see, let's let it play out, let's just see what happens here, that's what I say. Let's give it another week or so, I mean, worst comes to worst, we just give it to them and they read it, you know, but I just think we should just let it go for a little bit now, but I have, like Bill said, I did contact her, I did speak to her, and so now we're gonna try to work it out, her and I will try to work it out, see what we can do.
Going down the line for the program, Joyce Green and Blatters, have they been
They're on.
properly notified?
Yes,
And they're all in?
yes.
They're all in for the Star Spangled Banner at the beginning and God Bless America at the end?
I haven't mentioned that to her yet. I was looking through this, the program that Joe had given us, I think you gave us this one, Joe. And I see in here, they got a lot of they got a couple extra songs in there, they have, God Bless America, or America the Beautiful. So I don't know which one you wanna have them sing, America the Beautiful or God Bless America. And then they also have Amazing Grace, so I didn't know if we wanted to put that in there or not. Or just do the Star Spangled Banner, and then do God Bless America when you're doing the flag.
all I know is this program's long.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so,
well, that, I mean, you can take out whatever you wanna take out.
I don't wanna take anything out, I'm just saying, that, you know,
cause we got how many songs being sung by the
Joyce is-
seniors?
Just one, they're just gonna do the one you do the poppies.
Oh, I thought there was 6 little melodies that we talked about, they were gonna.
This is the, and good, I'm glad you brought that up. Is this the order that we have the veterans come up and put the poppies on. We're gonna do the Army first, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Coast Guard. Is that the order? We need to make sure the band has that order and what key.
Okay, so that's when the band will be playing those little.
The band will
songs,
play it
okay.
and the singers will sing with them. That's what I thought, but I don't know if you have a different. Is that the order that you usually does? The theme songs?
Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Coast Guard, yes,
Yeah.
that's generally the order I remember.
Okay. So the,
Band plays, and the seniors are singing at that point, right?
yeah, they'll sing this song as they play the band and the soldier puts it on the.
What about the Space Force?
I'm just gonna say that, but coming from an Air Force guy, I don't, because they're mostly Air Force right now.
The Space Force is very new. I tried to find a flag for them. I tried to find hats for them. It's too new, Rich. I couldn't find anything.
And
And then you got the placing, that's right here.
so while those songs are being sung, that's when the poppies are being placed?
Yes,
And who's placing the poppies?
we're gonna pick, we'll pick that day. We'll pick an Army veteran, a Navy, yes.
Okay.
That's like at random. We pick it.
Is that how it's done before? Okay.
That's how
okay.
I did it. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, but Tom Collier needs to know that, so he's gonna, cause we're gonna pick them beforehand, so they know that they're gonna come up at a particular time.
It's right here, yep. You're gonna place the poppies on the wreath.
Mhm.
And Tom will say Army, Navy, you
Okay.
know, he'll call them out
Yeah.
as he,
Gotcha, all right, now I see it, okay. And that's Tom will be doing that.
Tom will, yeah, he'll call out the Army, Navy, and then as he does, they'll get up and place the band and they'll
Okay.
play the song.
And then following that is taps.
Taps, I don't know who's, Ed's, where'd he go?
Ed's grandson
Oh,
is definitely gonna be doing it, and now because
his
we
name
don't
is?
have, but I don't know his name, he's 12-year-old, and I know he's well, but we need to know the
we need
name?
that for
Need the
for-
name?
I do
I think
need
the
to know.
firing of the guns come before the taps, then,
I don't
am I
know.
correct saying that?
Well, they're in the program, but I mean, I've seen a lot of
Taps and then
programs
fire.
where they just have the event listed
During
and they don't
taps.
have the names of it.
Yeah, yeah,
But- Because they probably have this kind of problem.
yeah, and it could change at the last minute
Yes,
too.
yes,
So I probably recommend that we don't necessarily
put the
put
name.
the name in, yeah.
Okay, so don't put his name in?
Yeah, so his grandson has been practicing. He, as we talked about before, would be in the cemetery doing the retort. The initial, because we don't have
First, right?
Quabbin coming as a band, because they're gonna be in Barry. I'm gonna ask the band we've hired and paid $1,500 for to do all these little vignettes and to do the first playing of the taps. How does that sound? Yeah.
They could also, Ed's grandson is still gonna do the response,
absolutely,
the
yeah.
echo trumpet. Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
And he'll be in the cemetery.
okay.
So that one follows the other, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So we should be all set. The trumpet players are gonna be Ed's grandson.
Followed in
and the
taps, I
band.
think it's supposed to be.
Following taps.
I think you're supposed to fire how have you done in the past?
Do you fire first, before
During
that?
taps?
Yeah, that would be correct.
So we're gonna move that up, so you're gonna have
Is
to
that right?
fire.
Am I right, guys?
Yep, taps first and then
So the order is Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force,
okay,
Space Force, Coast Guard.
So Army, Marine,
Marine,
tell me again.
Army, Marine, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard.
Okay, we don't have a Space Force.
so if you put
But
the
the
Marines
So we're gonna
after the
change,
Army.
well, change.
Is that based on like the dates that they were established?
Yeah, the Navy didn't file their paperwork correctly, otherwise they would have been first. And the Marines just never filed it.
Yeah.
It's Army,
Oh, the crayon
Marine,
broke.
Navy. Paperwork, right? That's true, it should have been Marines, they didn't file their paperwork.
Yeah.
Okay. So the guns are gonna be fired before the taps?
Yes,
So the guns are before the taps, John. If you put it, I don't know if you wanna put it in your, I don't
No,
know.
it doesn't
This
matter.
is not anything that you have to go by, it's just,
If I show up and
Thought
it's
we
not there, you tell me, and it takes a minute to get it done.
it's just a guideline, I mean, I don't, cause I really don't know either.
While we're on the subject of the, issue I forgot, how many of these do you want?
Well, we're gonna have quite a few people, and we need to pass them out, are you gonna pass them out along to the spectators that are there?
I think whoever comes to the program would
Exactly.
get them, you
Yeah.
know,
As
they're
otherwise.
coming
So,
up on the
and,
common.
so Bill and I can pass them out.
Yep.
So how many do we want, 500?
I would say that'd be it.
Good enough.
Rather have more than not enough.
What's that, this program here, the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
We're gonna advertise.
We've been advertising.
Everybody got a newsletter, right? Sue did a beautiful job.
She did.
Did everybody get a newsletter and wanna read it?
Oh, yeah,
We'll take one too, I think.
Oh, it's a beautiful newsletter,
I started reading it.
and it tells you what we've been doing and how, did you get one, Sheila, did I give you one?
That's
Did
what
we
I
ever
pictured
end up
too,
getting
additional
anyone?
I
I
don't
like
know,
pictures.
honey.
They were in short
But, anybody else, did everybody get one? Beautiful job,
that's
Sue.
the May edition.
May.
Yep, and it's got a lot of information and we've got a lot of advertisement. So,
Okay,
the
now,
thank you club.
we got, am I ahead of myself? Okay, yeah. I'm looking down for the Boys and Girl Scouts, but that's a little later, so keep going. Then we have the raising of the flag.
Yeah, this is just the, not the lineup, this is just some of the stuff I thought John might wanna put on there. So the raising of the flag, I don't know if were you planning on doing one of these songs for the raising of the flag or not, or were the band gonna play something? What was your thought on that?
That was at noontime, you
That
have
was
to
at
do
noon
that,
time,
right?
12 noon, yeah.
Wherever
So
they are.
I would say that based on all these things transpiring, that's not gonna happen at noontime. If in fact that, should be done at noon, then it's gotta be moved much further up to the front.
Yeah, and that's fine, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, you wanna do, when do you wanna,
Closer to noon, the better.
Then what he normally should be saying then that, everybody should be at attention and present arms for raising of the flag.
Yeah, that's you. We've stopped, I think, in the middle of it in past years. And
They've done that.
oh, actually, no, it's been after. We've had the parade after that, and it's already been put back up, I believe.
Okay.
Because we're earlier this year than we have been in past years, right?
yes, we
Was it
started
one
at
or
11,
two?
we used to do it at 1.
Yeah,
and-
so it's
and we
already
would-
been up in the
Yeah,
past. So we
okay.
haven't had-
So the last couple of years, we did it at,
But it would be nice if we have a crowd assembled to see that,
yes,
Correct.
as opposed to doing it when nobody's around.
yes,
So we need to really put that towards the front.
okay.
Because by the time everybody's organized and in place on the common, I believe we're looking at noontime or maybe a little after.
So do we wanna put it before the readings, or do you wanna put it
I would
right
definitely
after
put it
the,
before the readings, yeah.
right after the Star
If
Spangled
that's
Banner?
one of the things that, the time that matters, out of tradition, then it should be much closer to the front.
Or do you just, when it's 12 o'clock, whatever's happening stops
Yeah,
and
that's,
you raise the
that's how
flag?
he said he did it normally.
So you really,
It's kinda
you're
like a
not gonna be
floating,
able to put it in,
Yeah.
well, it's gonna happen here.
it's a floating item.
Yeah.
Do you wanna put the wreath in the beginning, right after the Star Spangled Banner? You want them to do the poppies then?
I think that's at an appropriate time, but get that raising of the flag. There's gonna be, so if people are gonna be getting the program, they would know that that would be one of the things gonna happen early on.
I gotta get all those changes, all right? So, it doesn't take long, but I need to have them.
You understand that part of it? Yeah, put that right up at the front, I would say. Cause that is the one thing, time-wise, that should be appropriate to make it in accordance with tradition.
So do you wanna put it like right after the Star Spangled Banner?
I would put it right at the very beginning, even before the chaplain Does the chaplain do the benediction there at the beginning? Is that how it's done?
She does the benediction at the end.
What's chaplain do at the beginning?
She says the little prayer.
Invocation.
Yeah,
Invocation, yeah. I put it right up in the front.
so before or after?
For,
You sure, John?
I would say
'Cause you think
that
it's gonna
if we
take us
get
an
everybody
hour?
on the common, and they're there before that,
Yeah,
then fine, we start with the invocation. And then at 12 o'clock, we do that, but, so it's up there towards the beginning, because everything else can fall into place before or after.
okay, so we're gonna
Could you
put it,
start at, say, noontime, raising of the flag, and then put your program? But you have it first, noontime.
Yep, because that's the
You're
one
raising-
thing
so
that,
we might have to wait a little bit, because it's gonna take a little while for everybody to get down there, I see what you mean, Bill, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Alright, so we're gonna put him up before the. Got that, John?
He's hoping that
We
we
can talk about it, it's all right, I'm just running things over in my mind.
Okay. Alright, so other than that, got the trumpet players. What's your grandson's name, just for the heck of it?
Samuel Baldwin, Beaudin.
Sam,
And what I think I'm gonna do there is I'm gonna get, the sheet music, the taps, and draw a slash and give one to each of the two trumpet players so that they know when one stops and the other one begins, if it's gonna be a report. So, you know, they play so much of taps, and there'd be a slash, and then there'd be the report, and then play again, report.
Right,
Okay,
how it works,
so you're gonna handle that, Ed, we're not gonna worry about that then,
no worries.
no worry.
yeah.
We're just gonna find another, well, I think somebody from the band is gonna do that.
yes.
Okay, the raising, and then we have the readings. And then we're gonna have the turning, the scouts to turn up the flowers at each monument.
So by the readings, you mean the 4 little speeches?
Yeah, from Donnie and Ryan
Yeah,
and
okay,
Steve
great.
and you, right?
Yep.
Because you're gonna dedicate the memorial, which is gonna be after, when you, alright, so this was my thought. You can change. So Bill, you're gonna be talking about the monuments that were being refurbished, right?
That's correct.
So at that time, do we wanna have one Girl Scout and one Boy Scout standing at each monument?
Mhm.
So when you talk about the World War I monument, and as you're talking about them, we would like the one Girl Scout, one Boy Scout to tip up, because the flower's gonna be laid down.
Okay, I know about
And
that.
they're gonna tip them up as you talk about it, right?
So then you're gonna need, okay,
Two,
so you
four,
do know,
six,
you do know there's not that many Boy Scouts, right?
We
there's
have
not
a
8 Boy
9,
Scouts?
Jamie said there are 9, and he's hoping that he'll have the majority of them there.
Yes,
Mhm.
but like some of them, and the same with, my older Girl Scouts that would be more capable of this, cause I haven't even heard back from any of the youngers yet, whether they're coming, not coming, or what they're doing, even though I've thrown it out over a month ago. Some of them are in ROTC so they'll be, yeah, it's like, there's only so many kids in this town.
So
Yeah.
Katie, let's,
So how many kids do you realistically need?
we need
Minimum and maximum?
2, 4, 6, 8.
Well, we have 5 monuments, so we need 10, don't we?
Okay, well, the band, yeah,
Alright,
We
so
need 10.
5 of each,
yes.
okay.
So let me just, how old do you think the youngest one could be that could stand there and just tip a flower?
Well, the Boy Scouts, they are, in 6th grade currently, the
So do you
youngest
think-
ones. But Girl Scouts go down to kindergarten, so let's not,
So do you think a little 10-year-old, do you think 10-year-olds, I know my 10-year-old could do
for
it.
Boy Scouts, yes, it's just how
And-
many of them actually are coming,
Okay.
that is my question.
And the girls, 10,
We have, my troop is older, but again, we only have 7 total in my troop. There are younger troops, but I don't know if any of them are coming yet, cause nobody will respond.
so, okay,
So-
so, what do you think about this, if we have, he's gonna talk about, I don't know, you're gonna talk about World War I first, however, we could have two of them there, and then they could move to the second.
Worst
I-
comes to
And then
worst,
they could
yeah.
move to the second.
Yeah, and
We'll
I'd
get-
probably
So
play
they
that
could move.
chronologically and do it Civil War first,
Yeah.
and then,
Oh, civil, alright, so we have to change that.
Alright, so
Yeah.
minimum 2 kids that go
That
to
can move from
maximum
one,
of 8 children that you're gonna, 10 kids, if we kept 2, 2, 2, and 2 and they just stood there,
Right.
okay.
but
Alright,
if,
I
but if
will-
they have to move, then we'd have to tell them which,
Yeah.
we'd have to guide them as to which monument they're going to.
We'll make something work appropriately.
yeah. And I,
Okay, so
we've
the
talked,
Civil War would be one, and one would be two?
no, Span Am World War One would be the second.
Yeah. Span Am.
The third would be the World War Two. Fourth would be the Korean War, which is across the street. And then the fifth would be the Vietnam Memorial.
So will you be talking about that, or are you gonna set up a special time when you're gonna dedicate, cause I got, oh,
When it comes to the Vietnam monument, that would be Tom calling forth the veterans to come up and literally unveil it. So what do you think? Should we wait until that point to have the Boy and Girl Scouts put the flowers up on that one when it gets unveiled?
yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But chronologically,
But if you're
what I
gonna
do-
talk about, yeah, because it's not gonna be unveiled until you
That's
do your
right.
dedication,
So we'll leave that till last, and, you know, just quick references to couple of statistics. What I wanna show is that Hubbardston has always answered the call, that we've been patriotic, and then talk about with a particular memorial and say, this is what we did, we refreshed this memorial. And when it comes to the Civil War Memorial, a little more time, because we repaired, restored, and, you know, put the new eagle on, so on and so forth, a little bit about the cannons. What I intend to have, on site will be a donor banner that will be, show, people who have, contributed to this, fund. And so we have platinum, silver, gold, silver, and bronze. It's two-sided. We also are going to have a collage of Vietnam, Hubbardston Vietnam veterans. Right now I'm working on that. It may be a banner or it may be a collage that'll be tandem to it. And the third thing I'm gonna have is people who haven't spent a lot of time looking at what it looked like before. What we've done to the Civil War is I'm gonna have another picture up there showing what it looked like before. So then they fully understand the time and effort went into making it look what it looks like today. So if you haven't looked at Common in a while, lots of action happened in the last day or two, but there's a lot more to be done. In other words,
Pretty beautiful.
the eagle has been removed from the top because it was broken, and the head was gone, so on and so forth, so we had a complete new eagle done. That'll be on by the middle of next week, but the cannons are there. One pyramid of cannonballs is up, the other will be coming, and looks a lot different, so, but then, to emphasize it, we'll have a photo there showing what it looked like before, so, but that's that.
Really small
Great,
town
it's
America
great.
as I thought of everything while I was doing these things. We're typical small town America. One of the facts I found while I was doing all this stuff is, and people wouldn't admit it, and it's not wokeism, the first Memorial Day was celebrated by black slaves in a place near where northern troops had a hospital and a prison. The Confederacy had a hospital and a prison there, and they so much appreciated the fact that these people died fighting to save their lives and end slavery, that they celebrated the first Memorial Day. I mean, that's not generally known, but it's something I've found, and it's a tribute to them. They appreciated the fact that somebody was out there willing to die to make them free.
And Hubbardston, with a population of approximately 1,000 in 1861,
Yeah.
sent 140 boys off to fight, and we lost 44. We lost 44 boys from Hubbardston in the Civil War. So, yeah.
For a number of years, I was a trustee of a church in Clinton, and their whole Sunday school, for all the guys who were old enough, including the head of the school, left and joined the Union Army at the same time. You know, a lot of those things happened in small towns. You know,
Good, okay. So, Amazing Grace and God
I-
Bless America
Yeah, do
would
we
be
want,
sung as we're unveiling the monument?
alright, let's go back up here to, the raising of the flag. Are we gonna sing a song for that or no? Let's just cross that out if that's not gonna happen. No song for the raising of the flag?
It's usually pretty solemn, isn't it,
Okay.
when you're raising the flag?
Okay. Well, remember when Patriot, when we saw that down in
But that was at,
That
that
was
was at night, that was,
patriotic,
yeah,
yeah, flag.
that was at
Okay,
night.
so
That was-
let's take that out of there, so we're not gonna do
That
that,
was a daily thing.
right?
What's
The God
that?
Bless America thing.
what are we taking out of it?
Raising of the flag, they're not gonna sing when
Right
we
here.
raise the
Right here,
flag.
they're gonna take out that.
Okay. So I didn't know at the end if you wanted to sing God Bless America
Yeah, that's
or
what I thought
Amazing
we were
Grace.
gonna
I
do.
just saw it in this that Joe had given me, so I was looking over that, and that's where that came out from,
At the end,
at the end.
yeah, I
when
like it at the end.
Yeah, you dedicate the Vietnam Monument,
The
and
benediction.
so do we do it after the benediction, or while you're dedicating the monument,
I would say,
right after that you do that?
well, either or.
After the unveiling, I would say when you unveil the monument,
Yeah,
one of these songs should be sang.
yeah.
And I don't
Well, I
care
know we
which
asked-
one,
We asked Joyce Green,
I could ask,
Tom Collier was gonna ask Joyce Green and the sisters to do that, but I think we should enforce that.
I'll talk to Joyce,
Mhm.
I'll just,
Good.
so which song do you want her to sing?
God bless America.
God Bless America?
God Bless America, Joan, on that. So good, okay, so we got a program here started. The only other thing is I just wrote down just the thoughts, and I'm sure there's people I forgot just who we were gonna thank at the end of the program. We could take a quick look at that real quick and
Yeah,
tell me.
okay.
who you-
On the very first one, leave my name out and just say Vietnam Veterans Memorial Committee.
Okay. Take those ones.
Guess we'll have to thank the band, cause we're paying them $1,500.
We have to thank them or we don't.
We don't,
Okay, so I
they
don't
get
have,
thanked in green.
You can take me off that too, Claudia, you don't need to
okay,
thank me.
I didn't wanna put my name on it either. Alright, I'll just take you
How
right
many
off,
people
Joe.
in their organization, you know?
Take
On
Joe
the
off.
band, 7.
$1,500 for 7 band members?
Oh boy.
The Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts.
So we're gonna put the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts on here?
Sure,
Hubbardston Militia.
yeah.
I'm gonna rely on you, Claudia, to give me the stuff in chronological order so that I can keep it. I'm glad I used large print.
Buddy.
The Green
Could we,
Sisters.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Green Sisters,
Yeah, Green Sisters.
Yeah.
And Mom. Green Girls.
do we just wanna say things like, we wanna thank the Hudson Parks and Recreation Committee, thank you to the American Legion, do they? Yeah.
What's the Legion doing?
They're donating poppies,
They
but
donated the
they should be,
poppies.
just say the
Yeah.
American Legion,
The
You know.
Legion Auxiliary donated copies, that's in there.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'm just saying, do you need to say that they donated copies, do you need to say, you know, the ice cream social, you know, we wanna thank,
I think
the
that's,
council on
that's
aging.
a good idea.
Take
Cause
it
they do
out.
other things, and so, just,
Take it out.
I would say that's a good idea.
To take it out.
Yeah.
Okay, the Lions Club, we're
The
gonna take
Lions
out the
Club,
hot dogs,
yeah.
chips
Yeah,
and soda.
and Florence, I mean, take out, if
Take
we're gonna
out the
take it out,
flowers.
yeah.
yeah. I think just acknowledging
Yeah.
the
And take out the
organization or
donut,
individual
the
is fine.
poppies.
Yeah,
I never do.
you know,
Grove Green, you're gonna take out allowing parking?
Yeah.
Okay, Center School, I don't know if we wanna put that in there, I put question mark, I don't know.
Well, you're gonna have kids from the center
Yeah,
school, how do you?
so we gotta have,
So leave it in there, okay.
Ray Reed, take out commentator.
Okay.
And I
And
think
McCarthy's Bus Company, take that out. They're not going to Quabbin right now because we did cancel them, right?
Oh,
Because
they're
weren't
going to
they gonna
Quabbin
go-
and pick up the drill team.
Oh, the drill team, okay, and they're going to Worcester to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah, they donated 2 buses, significant.
Yeah.
And what about, I think, in capital letters, our veterans?
Okay, at the very top or the bottom?
I think it's at the bottom. Say our veterans,
Okay, capital letters, right?
absolutely.
Okay. Anybody else you think that we should thank on there?
WJW,
Okay. Did you ever get a hold of Chronicle? They are,
yeah, I got a
no?
hold of all of them. I got a hold of Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, Chronicle, all of them, very positive responses. I'm gonna follow up a week beforehand because you never know what's gonna happen with the world and what's going on. All of them thought it was a great idea. I knew somebody specifically at Chronicle, so I wrote Chronicle in general and then this person specifically.
So do we need to put Chronicle on here?
No, I don't think so.
Don't put it, okay.
You don't know whether they're
No,
gonna do it.
I would rather not put them on, because
Okay,
if we get 1 out of 4, I've contacted, I may be repeating myself, 6 antique auto classic clubs. I've had 2 respond, they're having meetings this month also, so I might have a better idea. But when we build that schematic for the field, I think we have to have blank spaces every once in a while for the fill-in type of thing. So, that, it'll work, 'cause we'll have enough helpers and organizers, it'll work.
Okay, all right, so we're pretty much all set with our program, John, we'll go over that after.
Until we do it, yeah.
Yeah, until we do it, and then we'll bring it again, and we'll do it again. And so we got all set with the firing squad, we know the militia's gonna do it, so we're all taking care of that. The taps, Ed, and you're
And the
gonna
band.
talk to the band, and we need to get the key. So
That's right, I only
the
got
seniors need to know what key they're gonna play that in,
Uh-huh.
because they practice.
Key.
Yeah, which key. The chaplain, we're all set with the chaplain, she's gonna be here to March, and she's gonna do those 2 things, so we're all set with her. Stephanie from the VA in Gardner had called and said if there was something she could do down. She wanted to set up a table for advertising for that, but I told her no, because we're not gonna have any advertisement, there's no advertising going on here at all, right?
How
Joe?
about over here?
Over here,
How about here?
oh, well, I assumed if we weren't gonna have any advertisement, then I just said no. Cause if I do for
That's
one,
veteran stuff, though,
it's,
right?
it's veteran stuff, I guess. So I could call her back
No,
and
it's
say,
I
if she
don't
would
know.
like to set up over here, I can do that, I mean, I don't
Not
know.
on the common, no, probably, right, Bill?
No.
But just say no.
No, I
period,
just
no.
thought, no, because if I opened to one,
So I did drop the flyers off, that's who called, the veteran
Stephanie,
mount.
yeah.
You could let her put materials on the ice cream social or something, not just have a booth, just
if she wanted to put some materials, I could call her back and tell her that.
I mean, they're there to assist veterans, you know,
I wanted
suicide
hats.
prevention
I'll
and
give her
anything like
hats.
that.
You got 'em coming.
Cause I asked her about the hats, cause I know they have hats up there, but she wouldn't, she said she didn't have it. So, okay, so, alright, so we're gonna tell her, I'll call her back and tell her she can bring some materials.
The handouts are
And
fine.
that's in block, just, it's so totally different than the VA, just so you know. I
Okay.
think we talked about that, so.
Yeah. So, okay, so we did the order of the songs, the keys, okay, we did that. On the common bill, maybe you and I will do this, unless somebody has any ideas.
Yeah, we
This
could
is-
pass that out and let people.
So we just did a preliminary thing, again, it's just hen scratch. I thought of a change. I mean, that's the first one we did, you can pass it around, I didn't make copies. But we had, this is the field. This is the field, this is 68. So we thought the classic cars could be on each side of 68.
Is that gonna be okay?
That should
That's
be
all
fine,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
So we
They could-
usually have, Where's the rest of the vehicles gonna go?
Okay, so we're gonna talk.
We'll get to that,
We're
right?
gonna talk. So-
Parade's done.
Then, this is the monument, so we originally were gonna put motorcycles up here. I don't know, I was assuming we would have a lot of motorcycles. I don't know if we were not. So on that one, we have the motorcycles coming up here. So as I'm thinking in the night, the brain never stops, we were gonna put the floats up here. We're gonna pull up with the veterans floats and the golden ages. Well, what happens? Then they gotta walk all the way down here. Now you've got the people on the float are the ones that have a hard time walking. I have one particular guy who can barely walk. So I said, I don't know, I don't think that's gonna be good. So I thought if we go back up and look at the field, maybe we could put the floats along here.
That's, the angle is.
But they don't have to, well, I don't know.
About
We could
stopping
look.
the float there and allowing people to get off and having them walk a shorter distance.
And that's a thought, are we gonna hold up the parade if we do that? I don't know. I don't know, Bill,
Momentarily.
I just
Mhm.
threw it out there, just.
Well, think about it, the only ones, you're thinking 2 or 3 floats?
I'm thinking 3 floats for the veterans and 1 for the golden ages.
Okay, so that's 4
The
floats.
Lions Club can probably walk.
Yeah.
They can walk.
Guys in the bikes probably don't wanna put their bikes on dirt.
There's a little grass up there.
There's a little
Where
grass
they
there.
don't wanna spill them, you know.
Yeah.
They could come up here and be by the church, which is like a
The
park.
motorcycles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
only if
thought
there's
maybe-
enough parking left, cause people are gonna come in early and maybe park up there, so.
If we if you
Well,
know
we
how
can,
many motorcycles we are, maybe
We
we
can
could.
stop that from happening.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright, yeah, you're gonna have, cause, okay, that's preliminary parking, people who come for the parade, you're gonna stop them from going up and
We
parking,
can,
if you can, that's
yeah, we
good.
can, so we'll have one officer is gonna be on duty that day, so he won't be. I can have him up by that area when people are arriving, so
Okay,
that they're
good.
not parking there.
Good,
And then we'll just redirect them to park elsewhere, go
well,
green
yeah,
or
we've
whatever
got
designated
4 or
parking
5
areas
spots,
that we
yeah.
have, we can redirect them to those locations.
cause I checked with all of the businesses along the way, up to and including Go Green, and then, Storage Solutions is next to that, they're putting in storage. I talked to him, and I left a message actually, so what I'm talking about is, beyond the rec field, we have Go Green. Parking's gonna be available there. Beyond Go Green, we have that new, storage facility going in. Huge amount of parking available there. My daughter owns up to, if you go by there's a big rock, so she owns everything to the right of the rock. No problem parking there. There's a little bit that belongs to the new guy. I left a message with him, I said, it's May 30th, it's a holiday, you're not gonna be working there. If you have an issue with us parking there, let me know. So I haven't heard anything back. So there's plenty of parking, but of course, the further you get away, then the more you gotta walk. But, you know, that's the reality of it. I talked to Leading Edge, they're the folks that are just up beyond the center, and they're mostly not there, but they're, same thing, no problem. So there's gonna be plenty of other places to park, so reserving that area by the church and not letting anybody park there is a good idea. Now we got floats, now we got potential of motorcycles up there.
So that was my thing, I was worried about people walking. The other thing on this one here, I mean, I put the podium here, which the Lions Club is making us a new podium.
No,
We
they're
need-
not, no. Go Green has purchased
Go
a
Green
brand new
is-
podium, which is now assembled, so.
Oh, I thought I got the misinformation.
No, that's fine, because
Oh.
Chad had looked at it and it was too far gone.
Yeah, so they're making us a new podium, Ryan, I'm hoping that you allow us to put it right there, because putting it in that shed, it gets wrecked. And I have no room in the senior center, and since it's gonna be brand new, and we'll be using it off and on for different functions that we have, that's a beautiful little spot for that podium. Would that be a possibility?
We can talk about it.
Okay.
Not to put you right on the
We're
spot.
gonna
but-
talk about it. So, the other thing I was wondering was the porta potty. So we have to have that porta potty because we have people that might have to use that. Where are we gonna put it?
Where has it been in the past?
We only had it 1 year, and I think we put it up here, but I don't know. I don't know if we wanna put it down in Old
Put
Century.
it near where the walkway is. so they can walk on the, whatever's left of the walkway, up by the church maybe?
Up by the church,
Up to the side,
up
to the
here,
right
that,
side
I
of the
got it
church.
up here,
right
but-
side.
yeah, I got it up here.
There's the two places to sit up there, the granite seats there. Leominster Memorial's also refurbished them for us. So
Nice.
someplace between there and church, there's grass there, that might be okay. And put it far enough back where if people are gathering there, we can still have the people in front and the porta potty in the back, so.
Have you thought about handicap parking?
I got
and-
that on my list, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
that's okay, no, good.
So, okay, and then they wanted to know where the spectators are gonna go. Well, spectators can stand here, they'll find a place to stand if they're gonna stand,
Oh,
right?
there's plenty of
I'm
room
not worried about
behind
it.
where all of our contingents and all of our people are gonna line up. And there's plenty of room behind there, for people to stand.
Yeah. Alright, well, this is just the other one I was thinking about the floats, but we can talk about that
So
after,
now in
Bill.
relationship to that, it was on that topic,
Mm-hmm.
I've had 2 inquiries already about, handicap parking and, seating. So, what do we think? I mean, that first person asked is it should we bring our own chair. So that brings up, can we talk about chairs now?
Yes.
Okay, so how do we stand with chairs?
So this is the story with chairs, I haven't done a thing. So, the reason why I just haven't done a thing, I figured I had a little time on that. I think if people wanna bring their own chairs, they're more than welcome to bring their own chairs.
We probably ought to suggest that they bring
If
along
they
chairs.
wanna bring their own chairs,
Folding
they're more,
chairs.
a lot of them will do that on the side of, when they're watching the parade anyway. But those of people, like, we need chairs for the veterans, we need chairs for the singers, we need chairs for older people, we need chairs for the speakers and things like that. So, it was brought up that maybe I should talk to the school.
How about, the church? Always
The
has
church
chairs.
will let us use a certain amount of chairs,
Okay.
we don't know how many chairs, we
And we
think there might
talked
not
about,
be
you and I
enough.
talked about, John Federico, for the Rod and Gun.
Rod and Gun Club, right, so.
Okay.
I don't know if I should be the person to talk to them, I think maybe the gentleman should, I think one of you gentlemen should talk to them.
Should you have some sort of chair with wheels in case somebody's disabled and can't walk?
We have medical furniture, and I have a guy who's gonna bring a lot, Kelly, the Lions Club has a trailer where we have a lot of medical stuff that we can use anytime we want, if anybody needs anything. And I have a guy, we have we could get a couple wheelchairs, but to push wheelchairs on, that's tough,
Oh, yeah,
you know, that's a
I
little
don't
tough.
recommend that.
And so I don't know, Rich, if we wanna do that, but I don't know whatever the board, whatever the committee thinks, I don't know.
I'll get in touch with John Federico.
Alright, so
Okay.
we have to, see how many chairs that we can get from the church, I don't know, we can't use their good chairs, we can only use the old chairs. There's a certain amount we can't touch, we can use the old ones.
Have you
Okay.
asked the school?
I haven't asked the school.
The
Okay,
school
third source
has
of
a lot
chairs.
of
The school has a lot of chairs and they come in a big long thing, so you can
Yes.
push, but you'd still have to have trucks to put them in the truck and bring them up. And we also have to find someone, now I know the Boy Scouts, I think Jamie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Jamie Pitney used to get all the chairs set up for us in the morning
We
with
gotta
the
ask him
Boy
to do that
Scouts.
then. He's done it in the past, Katie?
Well, yes, but then again, like I said, that was when we had a troop of 22.
Yeah.
Now we're down to 9, and not all of them will be available because they have to be with ROTC. So this is where we come up with this catch-22 stuff.
Jamie, emailed you and I last night.
Yes, I read that.
responded to that email. I told him what the responsibility of the scouts would be in terms of, at the memorial. But I did not mention the chairs. I think we gotta, I can bring that up with him and see if he can. So that would mean the scouts would show up at the common early.
Yes.
And then go up to the rec field and get in line for the parade.
But we'd also have to get the chairs from,
Point A
if the
to
Rod
point
and
B.
Gun Club has people there and they could bring the chairs up to the common, would be wonderful. Maybe they would even help set up, because like Katie says, they don't have many Cub Scouts to set
And
up
scouts
for
in
us.
general. Third source of chairs is Lions Club. And the Lions Club has up to 50 chairs, you
Yeah,
said?
probably around 50.
And
Oh,
do you-
okay, Lions.
And do you think that, someone could get the chairs up to the common that day?
I'll ask them at our next meeting.
Thank you.
I'm working on it.
You working on it, Brian?
Working on it.
Who you calling?
DPW.
Can I ask a question about the floats?
Yes.
You're putting them up along the side there where there's trees?
Oh, well, we don't know yet. We don't have
Oh.
them up there. I was gonna go over it with Bill to see, but you think that's a bad idea?
Well, I'm thinking of the flags that are gonna be flying off them. There's flags on
On all
floats,
floats, yeah.
and the tree limbs might get the flags.
Oh, but they're not gonna be that high, are they? Are the limbs that low up there? We have to look,
Yeah, we have
see
to
if
make
the
sure.
limbs are that low.
In other words, when they're going up that side, you're concerned?
with
If we
the
were to park them
limbs.
on the side.
I think that road's wide enough
It
that,
should be wide enough
Yeah.
to get up there.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of, there's gonna be 6 flags on each float, veterans float. And they gotta be tall enough so that you can see the veterans through them when they're waving. So they gotta be up there a little bit.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna have to get together and see how we're gonna design those, Skip.
Yeah.
so do you think I should recommend to, two people have asked, that they should drive up by the church for the handicap parking? That they would be, if they showed up that day, that, the police officer on duty would say, we were told we could park by the church because got a handicapped person,
So
We could do
maybe,
that.
yeah.
so,
How many are you gonna allow?
So far, two is what I've been asked about.
so Bill, will we go up and take a second look at that? Maybe we could, after we find out how many motorcycles are coming, maybe we could designate motorcycles over here, and we could put handicapped here.
By the church.
Yeah,
Eliminate
by
them.
the church, and
If
see
you're
how
gonna
many,
park anything else up there, then it's gonna it gets tight pretty quick.
just the motorcycles and the handicapped. Well, the floats,
You just wanna line up the floats on, Common Street.
well, I'm gonna check with Bill. We have to look again, I think, don't we have to look again to make sure?
When we line up the floats, mean at the beginning?
Yeah.
No,
At the common.
once we get up there.
Yeah, well, you're thinking that put them up by the church.
I had changed my thought, remember, this is where we said the floats could go up here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then my thought was, they're gonna walk,
Yeah, I see, yeah.
so I thought, could we ever put the floats along here? But maybe that's not a good idea.
Well,
We can keep the original and have the floats come up here and go on the grass.
how many floats do you think he's gonna
We have 5. We got I think we're gonna have 3 veterans, we're gonna have 1 Lions Club and 1 Golden
And the
Ages.
classic cars, we don't know.
No,
Classic
my
Colas.
sense is, I'd say 20,
Okay.
just
Right
wild.
here on the side.
I was just
Yes.
thinking if you could put,
Would it be appropriate to have a subcommittee that would take care of these little details in between meetings, so that, like, straighten out?
Well, we just talked about, the
Yeah.
3 of us doing it for the rec field, line up at the rec field, that's one.
So we might have to do it for the other end too then.
Yeah, yeah, by all means.
Well, me and Bill, do we need another person on that committee?
I definitely think on that day, we should have 4 people
Yeah.
there. In other words, the 2 of us plus 2 more, cause what's gonna happen is one of the contingents is gonna come up and we're gonna be telling them where to go in a nice way. But then they're gonna, if you say, well, you're gonna be up by the tree, and they go, what do you mean by that? So what's gonna happen
Have
is
to
we're gonna
walk 'em.
literally be walking them up there. So then that reduces, if we have 4 to 3, and then the next group comes up, we'll be doing that again. We're like a, concierge, taking them to the exact spot, 'cause it's gonna be important that they're in the right spot. So having 4 people there, I think is gonna be essential, so we're gonna reach out once again to the Lions to ask for.
So should we have, like John said, a subcommittee, should it be me, you, and 2 fresh minds to see if they have a better idea or something?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, yeah.
But alright, so we'll have to meet
But
in between.
in general, what's the consensus of the committee as far as how it looks?
I think it's coming along well.
Mhm.
A lot of details, and as we get closer and closer, the details are gonna pop up.
And we all know from previous Memorial Day events that snafu tends to be at the beginning, at the end. So by having a group at both those ends with ideas and a plan of action, I think that that's gonna make it go smoother quicker, more organized, and,
That gets to my biggest concern as I looked at the whole plans that were going on, communication between all these various groups. We need some kind of way to talk.
gonna be the
Back
phone.
and
I
forth.
think we'll
That's-
provide, cell phone, at
That's
some
it.
point, so if something interrupts it. I also, one other thing, WGAW is gonna be there and broadcasting live, as the parade is coming up. This is where Laurie's gonna be the commentator, setting them up. Do you think in front of the post office, cause he said the closer to the common, the better. So if we set them up at the post office, all they're gonna need is a table and chairs,
Yep.
so that, as the contingents are coming up, Laurie can say, and coming up next is one of our veterans floats, and this represents many, different veteran groups and so on and so forth from different timeframes.
So I have a thought, I think the post office might be a little too close, she might get in that jam, but Flo, which is next door here, she has a front yard. Couldn't we set him up right there, can it be on the opposite side of the
Yeah, there's
road?
no need, as long as they're sort of up, closer to the common is what he asked for.
So what about Flo, that's just on the
Yeah,
other
I understand.
side,
Mhm.
and she's got a lawn there.
Yep.
She usually decorates it a little bit for Memorial Day, so I could ask Flo.
Why don't you ask her if that's okay, cause he may need some kind of a hookup,
Yeah, and she's
electronic
got
hookup.
electric, she's
Yeah.
gonna also let the fire,
Library.
let the Lions Club plug in their, wagon to her house.
Okay, is that what's gonna be versus having senior citizen plug up? Cause we talked about, where the location of the food truck will be, closer
Yes.
to the senior,
Closer to the senior center, and,
but we're still gonna,
Use
hook up with
Flo's.
Flo?
yeah, the Lions Club will still hook up at Flo's house for electricity.
Okay.
What do you think you have to get closer than Flo? How about the library, or in that
Well, then
area?
you pass the
You
common,
pass the common.
the parade isn't gonna go up that far, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm just
So-
trying
yeah,
to
Yeah,
visualize it, but.
I think Flo's would be a good because it's not too far from
I
the
think that's a
common,
good idea.
and you can
Yeah,
still see
okay.
the flow, and you're not gonna get in that jam
All right,
that everybody's turning, you might not have such a big jam there.
okay.
Alright, I'll check with Flo.
John, check on, Heroes, the way you spelled it on the program, cause I'm not sure that,
whatever I did it in another place too. I put
just
born,
done it.
I added an E to born when I did spell check, of course, that's a word.
I think courtesy might be spelled wrong too.
Good, but I'd like you to mark those up and give them back to me, all right? And,
Okay.
that's why you all have one.
Alright, so the next thing was, the meeting here is wrong. Alright, we have another meeting next week on the 11th. Do you think that's too much? I just don't think we have, I think we should, even if it's 5 minutes, we should just make sure we have everything. How do you feel about that? We were thinking of somebody suggested having a meeting every single week until the parade, which would be the 11th and the 18th and then the 25th. Just quick
we
meetings.
could always say if we're done at the 18th, we don't have to meet on the 25th.
Comfortable with it,
yeah.
right, we don't have to meet, right.
Mhm.
So we would have a next meeting on Wednesday, the 11th, at 11 o'clock.
Okay, one more,
Yep.
the, Veterans Memorial Committee is, tonight will be authorizing and voting on, hiring a landscaper. The landscaper would be, doing all the finishing touches around all of the monuments and bringing in flowers and stuff of that nature. I know Flo was gonna do something with, is it Flo doing the flowers that we
Yes,
lift up?
yes.
Cool, okay, cause that's not gonna.
Where's she doing the flowers?
She's doing
Yeah.
geraniums, she's doing like 20 geraniums, there's 4 for each monument, I think. And we're gonna put them up like that, and she's gonna do the wreath. So
So are
she's,
they gonna go on top of the monument?
I thought they were gonna go like right in front, but if you guys
The
are gonna
wreath
do.
would be like on a easel of some sort?
The wreath is, yeah, and it's set up front, so but she's getting geraniums to put right in front of the monuments. But do you not want that?
Okay,
Well, the monument committee has engaged this person and we.
Kelly Romano,
Yeah, we can, she's a new florist in town and we can just coordinate what we wanna do, but she was gonna do the plantings of geraniums, but she's gonna do red, white and blue. And we've already mapped out places for all them to go, and she's also gonna do a circle around the flagpole. And, you know, so, we don't need to do it twice, so.
So, all right, so we don't need the Girl Scouts to do that little program there with the things, and I have to tell Flo she's ordered 20 geraniums, I have to tell her, we don't need them.
Okay,
And
All
Flo was
right.
gonna charge the committee for them?
The Memorial Day Committee was gonna pay for that.
Cause, now, this gal is gonna come in and like smooth everything out and make it look as good as possible. There's not gonna be grass around everything, cause it's been, dug up enough times, but, and I wanted to bring that up because I knew that Flo was doing something, but I think that,
what she's gonna do is, each monument, like, we've got some flowers that are growing there now, she's gonna weed all those out, and then, in front of, the World War One, World War Two, plant geraniums, and then on both ends of the Vietnam, she's gonna create, an area there, but not in front or in back, cause there's wording on the base of the monument that we don't wanna cover up. And then we're gonna mulch across the street, on the one in the school. or
The
we're
Korean
gonna-
War.
We're gonna mulch that, so I think we're gonna be all set. Is that
So-
gonna disrupt things?
So no
'Cause-
Boy Scouts, no
Yeah,
Girl
I
Scouts.
No
think
Boy
it's-
Scouts, no Girl
Okay.
Scouts.
for what? But wouldn't they still be doing that?
No, well, you got the flowers already there,
I think
so
you
what are you
should
gonna
still
do?
go with that, I think you, Bill,
What's
cause it's representing, the kids are represent, or.
Yeah,
if
wouldn't
it's
they
gonna-
be the, is there one vase that they normally would set up?
No, they're just gonna put a
They
flower
got
down.
four flowers that were, we ordered 4 flowers. Okay, so let's talk about the monument. The monument goes, let's see. So we got the monuments, right? You're gonna have four geraniums, right? Cause that's, I followed your little rule there, that said 4 in each, and they're gonna be tipped over, and then when you talk about them, we'll tip them up. And they'll be in front, but you already have your geraniums, that's the thing, you're hiring a landscaper
Yeah.
to already have the geraniums. What are we gonna do with these 4 geraniums?
So the geranium, could we have those in a pot?
They were
and
in a
they're over?
pot,
Okay.
yes, and
Can we
they're,
have her put them in permanently after? In other words, we can, I wanna get the scouts involved, so.
well, yeah, but,
You could put a small wreath or a bouquet of flowers on each monument.
Yeah, how about that?
To have them involved, if you're gonna pre-plant the same plant.
right. I just have to tell Flo, cause I know she's ordered them,
Yeah,
and
well,
I
that's
don't
kinda
want her to.
That's not right, you already got flowers ordered, now you're gonna
Yeah,
tell her she
alright,
can't, so
well,
you can't,
um,
it's different.
She got the certain amount, and so we just have to, I mean, I'll tell her.
I'll just coordinate with the landscaper that she won't put any flowers in front of any of the monuments, and we'll do the rest of the plan that we were gonna do.
I feel bad about that.
No, that's okay. We save money on that end, so.
It's a
Well,
win-win.
So we still need, 2 up to 10.
That's correct.
2 up
Yeah.
to 10.
I wouldn't wanna
Still
leave the
keeps the
scouts.
scouts involved.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so we're gonna still go with, the plan is to stay with Flo, let her
Yep.
finish,
Mhm.
do her thing, alright. I think that's nice though, to hire a landscaper to do that, it'd be beautiful, I think, yeah.
It's not gonna inhibit where anybody stands to unveil it, won't be walking on the flowers or anything.
I
That'll
don't
be
think
fine,
so, I
I'm
mean,
sure.
we'll have to see.
I think what might happen is, the flowers will be put there while the monument is still covered, okay? And then because they are mobile, if we need to, we move them out of the way. You know, and then unveil it and then put them back in place. So,
The flowers that the landscaper's gonna put in, they're gonna be in the ground, they're not gonna be in pots.
They'll be
So is
fine.
she gonna do that for Memorial Day or not?
For Memorial Day, they'll all be in ground.
Okay, so,
So I think
but the
Richie's point
geraniums
is
we're
good.
talking about, they're the ones that'll be part of the ceremony.
okay.
And if need be, they get moved out of the way.
But these other ones, we won't be walking on them or anything.
No, they'll be fairly close to the monument. We gotta take that into
Yep.
consideration, that we're
They-
gonna be
they
covering
will
the
be.
monument.
Yep.
How many flowers on each monument, just on the ends?
Well, yeah, we were gonna put them on the ends, but we were gonna put them in the front as well, but now we're gonna eliminate the ones in the front. And at the Vietnam New Memorial, if they put pots in front of those, they're gonna be blocking the wording that's on the base still.
I think that we ought to hold off on putting anything in the ground for flowers until after. So she can make it look pretty. We put the geraniums out in front. If we need, we remove the geraniums because that shroud is gonna be over it. Is that gonna impact the flowers? So I would rather wait and have the flowers put in later. Cause
Well,
we're gonna be working on them.
Well, well, we can put the ones in around the flagpole probably.
Perfect,
Yes.
yeah.
And want me to switch her to do the other one and put them in pots?
No, well, I
At
have
the
already
end.
hired Flo, Ed.
Yeah.
We already we can always tell Flo no.
No, I think we go with flow.
We can always tell
Yeah.
Flo no, but
We've already
we've
ordered
already
them, yeah.
asked Flo. She owns Robertson's Florist, and they ordered 20 of those geranium pots, and they'll be all red, I think.
Okay.
So it'll be
Could you make a
red.
deal with the landscaper to come back and put those in the ground? How would that work?
Yeah, why not?
Flo will probably plant them after we get
All
done.
right,
She'll
well,
run up there
then
and
that's
plant
fine,
it, but
yeah.
Yep.
But have a
That will
fallback.
be fine.
it'll be fine. Okay, so we're gonna leave Flo to do that, all right. But if you change your mind, just let me know, and
No,
so
I
I can
think
talk
that's-
to her.
That'll work.
Okay,
The next meeting's at 11 o'clock also.
11 o'clock on the 11th. Do we have any other further discussion, any other thing we wanna bring up, anything we wanna
Just
work
those
on?
people that notice, correction, circle it and bring it over to me and
Do
I'll put
we
it on.
have John's correct email address? Cause one always bounces back. What's the one that
I
bounces
have
back?
John's corrected,
Yeah.
it's J Nason,
One@live.com. All lowercase.
Bill, do we wanna talk about the sign?
Yes, that's a good idea.
So,
How do we advertise it? How do we get the most people, because I've been actually amazed by the people that have contacted me and said that first time they've heard about Memorial Day, first time they've heard about, the monument, et cetera, et cetera. So how do we, spread the word, to the most people to generate the most activity? Cause I'd hate to have people say coulda, woulda, shoulda and find out about it after, so. So in the upcoming weeks, I talked about the banners that are gonna be up there, and they're colorful, and if, people slow down, they're gonna see them. But then, we have one, sign in town that we have utilized, and, we had the template for that, and Sue, ready to take over.
so, this is what we're proposing, I'm gonna hand it to you, because you guys do that. The only thing, if you look at the very last line, it says VN, I forget what the last
Hey,
word is.
Event,
Special event.
So,
special VN.
VN, the normal person looking at it, they'd be like, VN, what the heck is VN? We don't have enough space, so we want 4 pages.
Can we get more than
Can
3
we get 4
pages?
just,
Cause that's the template I was given in the past.
right.
I'll have to look when I go up
You
there to
can-
put
I
it in,
think you
but
can
I
do
think,
it.
I think it can,
What's the seconds between flashes?
You won't be able to read it. You
yeah,
can't
that's
get through
that's
to-
the problem, you won't
goes
be able to
too
read it.
fast, you
too.
can't.
Well, no, you
Driving by, you won't be able to read
It
it.
only flips like twice, so trust I tried.
Right.
It's very painful this
Well,
side.
then I must be a slow driver.
I don't drive
because-
fast.
No,
I
no,
just-
I must be a slow
Yeah,
driver
based on what we had
because
available, that's
they
what I came
had
up
the
with.
pie for breakfast that was
Yep.
3 pages
Yep.
and then taxes due
Mhm.
May 1st. And,
Pie for breakfast is only 2.
no, Katie,
Is it? Okay.
I'm sorry,
Okay. If
it
it's
was,
3,
we
it's
took up
3.
the 3 pages and then you also had taxes due
Don't start
May
waving your knife
1st.
at me again.
I know it.
What if you did join our vets? Instead of special events?
Where on that?
Instead of special veteran event, just join our vets.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But we wanted to, I'm suggesting,
We wanna
insisting,
point this out as a
Vietnam.
special day and a special day.
yeah.
You know, I certainly couldn't fit, I mean, most of us from the vintage know VN is
Yeah.
But Sue's brought out a good point.
Yeah.
So,
Can we try using that verbiage, but spell out Vietnam in,
we're gonna find out if we have more space.
Well, like Katie said, the problem isn't how much you put on, well, the problem is how much you put on there, but it's because people driving by you'll get through the first 2 pages and then you won't see the last.
I have,
Have a sign
we
out
do-
there, caution, radar.
Stop, we'll put a
gonna
stop
say.
sign right in front of it.
No,
Cruiser.
part one of the cruisers in the beginning of the field, right? So that they'll slow down so that they get to see the whole thing. Just a thought.
So did we do Charlie Clark Corner, that one?
That, I'm gonna flip that over as soon as the, May 14th fishing derby. Cause right now I just have the fairs coming and the fishing derby, and there's nothing after that besides town meeting and stuff, so the next thing I'm gonna flip it to both sides will be something, I'll figure out how to put that in those 5 little lines.
That's what I'm trying to get
So
in.
can I ask you something, Katie?
Two things, you know,
Do
11
you
and
have
12.
what's on the telephone poles now? Is that
That's
Flags.
my
The fair.
the fair?
town fair, yes.
Is it an
So
emergency?
that's
Bill,
gonna
can I
be
try
on
it
the, what
again?
day did you
Sure.
say, 12?
These puzzles.
It's the 11th.
Yeah, I know, that's where it's
So my
Can you do
question
it?
is to you, Bill,
12 characters per line, 3 lines, 3 pages, what?
my question to you is,
Yes,
if we got something to advertise our Memorial Day celebration,
they're all on there.
could we swap the flags just for
They're
a little
paid.
while?
They're paid.
Oh, they're paid.
Those are paid, people pay to put those up there.
Oh.
I will tell you though, have you put out a reverse email? That is free.
I don't know what it, Sue knows that, I don't know
The
that.
Code Red emails, oh, excuse me, not the Code Red email. Well, you could do a Code
I
Red
could do-
call,
do it with Cory.
which would be. So anyway, I did that for the 250th. I had Chiefy, do a reverse phone call to everybody, but also you can do an email. Lori can go over there, and anyone that's subscribed, you can send an email to everyone.
Yeah.
And it can say is whatever you'd like it to say, so it can be super, lengthy and get all the details in there. And then we can also put it on social medias, cause the town has many different avenues of social medias and different accounts. And we can spam the internet with it.
So, what if we too, also, should we reach out to the different towns with, I send this to all my senior centers, okay? So they get the information, all the senior centers, the veterans at the senior centers, whatever, we send this out to everybody, we email it out, we do everything. But maybe we wanna get some more flyers and, the invitation is here, maybe we wanna use this to send to, I don't know, different towns, different.
Well, they all have their events.
Yeah,
So-
they do, yeah.
That's an issue.
And I've contacted Athol News, Gardner News, Worcester Telegram, Barry Gazette. I sent them off that information, and I think we'll have some coverage that day for sure. If beforehand, Steve Landry from Gardner News / Worcester Telegram came out when we were putting the cannons on last week, took a bunch of pictures, talked to you, right, Ed? And then he talked to Laura Foley to get some other perspective. So I was hoping that, he said, the fact that we are going into Worcester with that bus to pick up 35 to 40 veterans
story.
was a story. And he said that would get us in the Worcester Telegram. All of that should take place beforehand. So that's gonna be, and they have all the who, what, when, where, how, and why. So I think that we've got potential, okay? I like that, yeah. Honor our Vietnam veterans, Memorial Day, May 30th, parade, 11 a.m. and ceremony at 12 p.m. That's why we hire you.
Word puzzles.
I feel smarter just sitting beside you.
Yeah, really, it rubs?
I do, yeah.
Next
Thanks,
time I'll
everyone.
sit next to him.
Thank you.
Have you done anything with the radio station in Gardner as far as
Yeah, they're
advertising?
gonna
Yeah.
broadcast live.
Yeah, right.
Andy's,
No, I mean prior to the parade.
every day.
Oh,
Every day he's putting it on there,
yeah.
and I've done a couple of interviews with him, Laura Foley has, so he's been wicked good to us.
Yeah.
So, and he said that when he broadcasts it, it goes out not just to Gardner and the area,
Right, right.
it gets online and so on and so forth, so gotten
That's
pretty
what
good
I
PR
listen
out
to
of it.
that all the time.
Yeah, you listen to it?
All the
Yeah,
time.
okay, and, he's good, you know, and he said, every day I'm putting on a reminder about the parade and the ceremony.
I did reach out to the Forget-Me-Not, disabled vets,
VF,
yeah.
VFW or American
No,
Legion
not,
Auxiliary,
no, disabled, DAV.
EAV.
And they have a, did I already tell you this already? They have a thing that looks like a poppy, only it's a forget-me-not flower. So I did get an email back from them, they're gonna try to get some of those for me, they're gonna try. I don't know if I'll get them or not, but, that would be great to put with the poppies when we give them around. It's beautiful, it's a blue forget-me-not flower, it's lovely, so I thought for the, it's disabled vets, so. I am trying to, I just live, every little thing counts, I think. It
Joe,
makes
what was
it
your
special.
reaction when you, approached the, center in Gardner and dropped the flyers off?
Unfortunately, she wasn't there.
Okay.
So I spoke to the lady at the desk,
Mm-hmm.
and she said she's gonna pass it off, and I guess she got back to flyer.
Yeah, okay. How about American Legion?
I talked to Burke. He's on the firing squad, because they just got done doing their, funeral detail up to the veteran cemetery, and they were able to put total postings up, so. But they're all committed for Memorial Day.
Yeah, and the same thing with the motorcycle clubs, they all have someplace else to go, that's why we'll probably not know until that day,
Yeah.
that's why we'll plan accordingly. And then on our schematic, we're gonna have a whole bunch of little notes to tell them where to go at the end, so they have direction, so we'll be organized as best we can for an event like this.
Head out, sharp, 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Can it was, I think we have 5 flags for each, I hate to bring this up again, but we have 5 flags for each float. And there's
Some
a
is-
space for 6. So I was wondering if we could have one of the MIA, and missing in action in the
How
P-
am I,
PFW.
would that be an appropriate flag to put on there?
Sure, yeah, sure, it's good.
I'll get the one.
I don't have that flag, do you have that flag?
I will.
One other
How about
thought.
having, one more thing I was thinking, the ROTC groups, having them come up on the common, should we have space for them?
We do, we have
We
the
do the
ROT
ROTC,
space,
we have the drill,
we have the ROT space
we have the
here.
color guard, yeah,
ROTs and ROT, we have the color guards in between them.
good, okay, yeah.
That's on the new one, on the old one, no, we don't have
Okay.
it, but this is the new,
Good.
so one I did, right, them, and then the color guards in the middle.
Okay, check that off my list.
Sue, if you do the reverse email
It's gonna
and
bring
phone
people
calls,
that
make sure you
wanna
put
see their kids,
the code
you know,
words and that
participate
information where
from
it
around,
shows.
be all the surrounding
Kind of slow
towns.
them down.
The two, Hubbardston Vietnam veterans who contacted me regarding the handicap parking have relatives coming in, one from the Cape and one coming from North Carolina. So they have relatives that wanna be here for this,
I have
Big
people
deal.
that are having parties afterwards, they're bringing all their relatives in,
yeah, so.
so,
I don't know if 500 hot dogs gonna make it, but it's awfully nice of the Lions, yeah.
yeah, 500, I
see 'em
know, I didn't know.
Cut
I
them in
saw-
half, and, you like a half a dog?
Might be more, they'll be sending someone to the store, get more,
Yeah.
we're running out.
Didn't they plan on having quite a bit of stuff and having
I think
whatever's
their
left
initial plan
over?
was 500, but maybe we should change that to 750.
If it goes the way Bill and I are hoping it's gonna go, or the whole committee, we're hoping maybe you might wanna think
The
about
magic
that.
word is free ed.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna
Yeah, but
wanna
there'll be a
go.
lot of people, cause they have,
A lot of other
You'll
events
be
going.
they have,
surprised
Yeah.
they have their
at how
own
many people
celebrations
come
for
out.
Memorial
Last time
Day
we
that they
did
probably
that,
would just come
and Ryan was there too,
But
the
I'll
senior
see if
center
I
was
can't talk them into
packed.
750.
It was packed.
We can always freeze
I know
it
it's
if
small,
we
but they
need
were
to.
outside, inside, I mean, we had
And
a
what's gonna
lot.
happen is that certain people who aren't gonna stay for the ceremony, but know there's free food, are gonna come initially, so there'll be a draw initially, but of course the vast majority will be coming after the ceremony, but at that point, if it's 1 o'clock, people are gonna say, well, I got another cookout to go to, you know, I'm not hungry, or, you know, wanna get away, so I think that, you know, we're gonna have a crowd, like you say, but it's difficult to anticipate.
It's hard to tell what they're gonna do, but I think they'll, Is
Make
there
sure
any
you do
other
the Indian
business?
dance about good weather, that's all.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's just quickly just touch on that. So we're thinking, whether it's bad weather or not, we're gonna continue on with our parade. Couple of two things we should think about. If we're gonna continue on with our parade, whether it be bad weather or not, we need to have some pop-up things to cover our vets. You know, we have them, we have a couple that we could put some pop-up tents over your podium, over your singers, your vets, you know, just, we would have to make sure that we do that, which, that would solve a lot, you know. Or are we gonna, I hate to bring it into the school because it loses so much. With all the work we've done, it just loses a lot, it's not, because we did that 1 year, but. So I think we should we should think about the pop-up tents, even if it's sunny out, it's still gonna, if we put a few up there, and it attracts people.
We have a good sound system now. When I was on the cable committee, we set it up so that, you know, they could broadcast the meetings of the town, you know, the annual meetings, et cetera. So you would be able, people could stay at home and still see the event, you know, a greater number. It's a fallback, but I mean, I think a lot of people are gonna get wet if we just cover up the area in the front there, you know.
Well, no, I'm thinking we could get quite a few of those pop-ups. They're not expensive, and I'm sure we all, I mean, we have some.
You're welcome.
Skip has some. We have a big tent here that we could set up and keep the signs up. I mean, just to keep the weather out, and we could set those up the night before, have it all set up the night before. And sometimes that attracts people. They go, oh, what's going on here? You get some tents up or whatever. But I mean, I'm not saying we have to make that decision now, but I think in the next few weeks, we should think about that. We should really consider that, just in case. Or we can be watching the weather as we go along. And if we see that it's gonna, then we can think, let's run around and get some pop-ups somewhere or whatever. You know, I know you have one that we could use, yeah?
Yep.
See? So if we put our thinking caps on, we could find a few to cover up the people, so. Alright, is there anything else anybody would like to talk about?
Any changes to the program, turn them over to me and just put a little check mark on the page it's on and circle the item, alright?
Right.
And I'll write that up. All set, everybody's good? Okay, with the meeting adjourned at 1 o'clock? Okay. See you next week.